Hey, quick disclaimer here at Pewology for everyone that's listening. We don't censor any of the conversations. It's potentially possible that you might find some of these conversations offensive. They're real stories from real people dealing with real stuff. If you've got little kids with you, not the podcast for you. Definitely not the podcast to have on in your car with little kids. But if you're an adult and you're interested in real people's journeys that includes relationships, spirituality, God, and a bunch of other things, this place for you. Love you, mean it. Peace. Welcome to another episode of Pewology. This is a show where the people in the pews get to talk and weigh in. And back again for one more round. Our good friend, Jesus. Jesus is back.
This is going to be great.
It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Thank you for joining us the first time around. The life story that you told was one of the more unique stories that I've ever heard. And so we noted in the last time that we gathered that there were other unique stories, and we thought, let's do this one more time.
One more time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So this all started because Axel threw you under the bus and another podcast about your definition of relationships and what fidelity means, and is it on, off, is it real, is it not, when is it official, when do the rules apply, yada, 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 which led to a discussion about a lot of like just casual dating experiences, and those are always fun.
Always.
I mean, like, it just never works out usually.
Yeah.
What do you think your success record is?
As far as what?
Like, let's say if success, the definition of success is a relationship that lasts longer than
6 months,
6 dates.
Last longer than 6 dates?
Yeah. 6 consecutive dates with no one else in between, right? How long, what's your success record like in life?
Oh man, you're gonna make me sound terrible, Mike.
No, I don't.
You're, make me
You're
sound terrible.
You're a one and done.
So here's the thing.
Okay, what here? Answer and then we'll clarify. What do you think? What do you think your success rate is? Pretty low? Feels like it's low.
Yeah.
Okay.
6 dates more? Like
yeah,
more
6
than
days
6
more.
dates.
6 days more.
But hold on, but
But
what?
that could be for a lot of reasons. Could be because
Right.
you're picky.
Right.
the fine date.
I'm not that picky.
You're not that picky.
After the last story he told, I don't think so.
Not only am I not that picky, define date. Thank you.
Oh,
Define
what's a date to you? A date to me is where you guys get in a car together or meet somewhere together.
Yep.
There's usually food or at least coffee involved,
Sure.
and there's talking and you pay. That really threw you off.
Yeah.
That paying thing threw you off.
Listen,
I have to pay for
Yeah,
it.
you have to pay. It's to pay.
I've never
wait,
been on a
wait,
date.
hold on. Did we not hear? Did we not?
Did you just say you've never been on a
Listen,
date?
man, probably.
Did you not hear the stories he meets
Yeah, but
at a
okay,
hotel?
but hold on. Hold on.
They
He's
cut to the chase.
You've never paid for a girl to go have a meal?
No.
No.
No. I have
Unless they're cooking stew in a wheelchair.
After they pay first.
I have made many trips to restaurants,
Okay.
and I have had the
Forgot his
intention
wallet.
of sitting there and conversing
Okay.
and getting to know each other. I never ever went there with the intention of this is an unspoken agreement to where I'm gonna end up
Okay,
coming out of my pocket.
okay,
first.
stop.
No.
Hold on.
The conversation's gonna
Let's
happen
go
before.
slow. Let's go slow. Are you telling me that when you arrive at the restaurant?
Yeah, before I arrive, the conversation's been had.
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm saying,
What do you say? Hold on. What's the
What's
conversation?
the conversation?
No, but hold on. This is my main question. Everything's about sex to these two. Okay, I have much more interesting questions. Okay, so I want to make sure we get to those. When you get to the restaurant and you're sitting there at whether it's coffee place, restaurant, whatever, right? And you know that there's some person who's going to bring you a bill.
Yeah.
you're literally thinking, how am I going to turn this into a Dutch situation?
No. I have the conversation before.
You say we're going Dutch.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, so you say, let's meet for dinner, and you're paying for your dinner.
I'm very honest and very clear. Hey, I don't mind going to dinner. I don't mind going to Outback or Cheesecake Factory or.
So wait, so where you're,
Hold on, let him talk. Let him
Yeah.
talk.
wherever it is that we're going, even if it's coffee. If it's coffee, $3-4, I don't mind investing $3-4 into possibly.
That's your limit?
having and that's
Listen,
hurting.
he made me
That's
give
hurting.
back the $4 for the coffee
Like I'm,
he bought me on
like I'm
Saturday.
gonna remember that. Like I'm gonna if you know
And you're going to remember
if
it?
I have this experience and the experience is bad, I'm gonna drive back like I should never do this again. I just lost
Can I-
$4.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
Is it your intention that at some point you're going to find somebody and you're going to connect to them and they're going to be the love of your life and you're going to live your life with them, have kids with them, build a home with them, like live your life with them?
Yes.
You are off to a horrible plan.
So here's the thing.
This is your plan?
no,
Is Dutch at the
no.
first, and you want to get there? That's where you want to go? And you're starting with, we're going to go Dutch?
No. I don't. So for any of all these people, for all the dates that I've been on, I never planned on marrying them. If it turned into something serious, accidentally or willingly, then it turned into something serious.
How
But
would
I never.
know? How would you know you don't want to marry them right up front?
You don't.
Yeah, but you're saying, I know I don't want to marry them.
I don't. But for me,
Well, but how do you know?
Because
I
he goes
don't-
in.
I
He
don't.
goes
You don't
in.
know.
Look, he
don't
goes
know.
into it not wanting to
yeah,
marry
because
them.
when they
not
can't open the
necessarily.
front door,
Not necessarily.
Hey,
Not
because they
necessarily.
can't open the front
No,
door,
no,
you
no,
already know.
Not
She can't
necessarily.
even open the door. I don't know if she's marriage material.
Listen, not necessarily. Part of the reason as to why I almost always, I make it clear, like, hey, you pay for your own stuff, I pay for my own stuff.
Why
is
do you
because-
do that? Why do you do that?
So the pool in which I'm swimming in, the pool in which I'm grabbing from, it's not always, most of the time decent women, and most of the time nowadays, you guys have been, out of the game for a long time. Nowadays, most women will say, "Hey, I'll pay for my own stuff." If we're just gonna go
Really?
have
They
coffee.
volunteer?
100%. And when they say
Now,
that,
is that because they're trying to send a message to, like, hey, if I
Yeah.
pay for my own stuff,
Yes.
I owe you nothing?
yes,
Oh, wow.
yes. So they're also trying to set the boundary of like, don't expect to buy me dinner or take me shopping, whatever. Don't expect this to be an exchange. Just because you buy me dinner or you
Doesn't
buy me
mean
coffee
we're going anywhere.
doesn't mean we're
Well,
going
maybe
anywhere.
that's maybe.
So,
100%.
but does that dial it back for you?
Well, no,
You
no,
still
no,
go?
no.
You still go?
100%. The
Hold
healthier
on.
the
Well, hold on. Whoa.
Wait.
You hold on. You still go?
Yes.
But why would you want to go?
Because I'm not just looking to get in the sheets. I truly do want to find somebody that I'm compatible with. And nowadays, later in life, I'm getting older. I'll be 30 in 2 months. Nowadays,
Wait a minute. You talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're saying that you want to find somebody, but you won't buy dinner?
No. And look, I've bought women dinner. Let's put that out
really?
there. Let's
Okay.
put that out there. I bought women dinner.
Where?
I have picked them up from
Where?
their house.
Wawa doesn't count.
No. I've bought so many women. Wawa.
Listen,
I
wait,
bought so
wait.
many women.
But in your defense,
Damn.
in your defense, if you're picking up a $3.95er, she gonna be a hefty bill.
What do you mean a $3.95? Oh, like her weight?
Oh damn!
This guy.
Who's picking up that?
That's
So-
what he
Okay,
said.
hold on.
Not even the scale picking up
Okay,
that.
okay, hold on.
Yeah.
That's what he said last week.
So, give me the nicest restaurant you ever bought dinner.
McDonald's,
Oh
Outback.
no.
Chili's, 2 for $10.
It's in the neighborhood. It's in the neighborhood. BJ's.
It's
probably
gotta be
Probably BJ's nice.
BJ's.
Okay,
BJ's is
that's
not
not
that cheap.
unreasonable.
Yeah.
That's
BJ's,
not
yeah,
unreasonable.
yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean,
Wait, do you take them there to subliminally?
did you get him a
plant the seed?
bazooki? Did you get him a
No.
bazooki?
No, I don't
Bazooki.
know. A
You didn't get-
bazooki?
That's
The
the
bazooki, the ice
dessert.
cream, the ice cream on the cookie.
I did not. If
He
they
got
got
a
that,
bazooki,
sure,
alright.
but I don't like dessert. I didn't get any dessert.
Okay,
The
let me ask you this: as a
bazooki.
person that's
He had
in
water.
as a person that's in recovery,
Yep.
would you buy their
Yeah.
drinks?
No.
No,
I'm not
you
buying
wouldn't
your
buy the
alcohol.
drinks.
No, I'm not buying your alcohol. You can get your own alcohol and drink if you want to. That's not going to
'Cause
affect
he's in
me. But I'm not
recovery,
going to
he
pay
can't.
for your alcohol.
What
Can't-
what if you want?
I can
what
do whatever I want.
Can't
But what if
enable
you
choose
were
not to.
okay? But hold on.
Yeah.
What if you were really into her, and you really thought, man, this girl's beautiful. There's a chance she seems really nice, and she orders a glass of wine. You still would say we're splitting the bill?
No.
You would
I'll
say,
pay for it.
I'll take for the whole thing.
No, if
Except
I'm
for the
going
wine.
into it, here's the thing. It depends. If I'm going into it thinking, and keep in mind, I'm 29 years old. My life pretty much begun when I turned 21. You know, when I got sober is when my adult life started.
Okay.
Before that, like there was no
Adult
idea.
puberty
Sure.
happened at 21.
Sure, there was no idea of dates or, you know, I'm gonna pick you up. I didn't have a car. I don't have an
Okay.
ID. I'm not gonna buy you dinner.
So
I've only been in the game, you know,
yeah.
in the right game of
And look at the
picking you-
examples of
picking
love
you
that
up.
he's had in
Wait.
his life too.
Right.
9 years of
what,
recovery.
what was the examples?
His stepdad and his mom.
Oh, wasn't
Stepdad,
good.
my mom, my dad. I never had a good example of what a healthy relationship is. You know, today, the healthiest example, the closest thing I have to that are my two roommates, my best friends, Albert and Jill. You know, that's the only healthy marriage I have ever seen. My entire life. Even in my surrounding family, in my immediate family that I have here in Kissimmee, like there was no good example of healthy relationships in my life. So that's why I say my life really began in recovery, because that's when I started to learn how to live life, not only as an adult, as a sober human being,
Okay.
and also
And swipe
Okay.
right.
as
That's
a
fair.
person that's trying to have
That's
God
fair.
in their lives. Now, with that being said, most of the dates and most of the women that I've been involved with in sobriety, most of them, I don't know why, I've always been the guy that didn't have the money. I've always been the guy that's just barely making rent.
Okay.
Just having to buy Chipotle and Wendy's, and I'm having to choose in between gas and a 4 for 4 from Wendy's. You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've never been the guy that had the money, that was in the position to be able to pick the girl up, take her to the restaurant, and drop her off. I've never had the
Gotcha.
financial freedom to be able to do that.
Okay.
When I did, I was more than willing to pick. I'll pick you up. We can go to dinner, and if you want to
Yeah.
meet again, cool. If not, I'll go about my way. It's not going to affect my wallet.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect how I feel, because I was just trying to get to know you.
Yeah.
Now, when you're an unhealthy human being, that's, you know, when you're teetering along the line of a sex addict, you're going to.
You think you're a sex addict?
I think I don't think I'm a sex addict, because sex addicts, like, they have to have it, you know, and they suffer consequences from pursuing sex. I don't suffer consequences from pursuing sex.
You haven't
But
had any consequences?
Well, I mean, I have suffered one.
I was gonna
consequence.
say,
I gotta
Oh,
go
hey,
pregnant.
What
Hey,
happened
look,
to that VD
so,
story? Let's
hey,
bring
can I-
that one back up.
Hey,
That's
Can I
that's
say
a
one thing,
consequence.
though?
Sure.
Yeah.
you can, when you think about suffering consequences, what do you define suffering
Yeah, 'cause
consequences?
it could
So,
be-
because if you think about it, like, if you don't think of like the loss of a job, a really good job, or the loss of like home after home, or like the things that you've lost in your life recently,
Yeah.
isn't a consequence, isn't spiritual fallout, as Avi likes to call it. I've experienced that, like, you know, whenever.
Yesterday.
No. No, I'm saying when I've been unfaithful, and whenever I haven't done the things that God, I've experienced spiritual fallout in like finances.
Sure. I mean, I think I've definitely had consequences due to, you know, being spiritually unfit, for sure. Now, regarding to women, no, not really. I don't think so, because
Do you think there's but do you think there is like you named very like earthly, material, physical consequences? What about just
Sure.
the emotional consequence?
that's the biggest So
Yeah.
if we're talking about those consequences, yeah, I've definitely experienced those. I mean, there was a point in time, maybe even recently, within a year ago, where I was like, man, I'm never going to be able to have a healthy relationship, because I'm just so uninterested in it. Like, I got so much going on in my life. There was times where I truly felt hopeless, and I never saw myself, you know, climbing out of that hole and being into a better position mentally and spiritually, not necessarily financially.
Okay, so I'll say it this way, and you tell me if, and don't just bullcrap me if you don't think this
Sure.
is right. It's okay. You're not going to offend me. But my guess is it'll go off like a bell a little bit. Like it'll resonate with you as I'm saying this, right? Like, I think one of the consequences that I run into, I spend a lot of time in one-on-one talking with guys that are struggling in this area of their life. Okay. So I'm having this conversation a lot. And I just say this simple thing. I'm like, hey, guys have this amazing ability to separate sex from relationship. Like we can have sex without relationship, right? It's almost like a superpower. Like it's not even a thought. You can be like, no, we're just banging. That's it,
Bang
right?
it out.
And we can do that. But if you do that long enough, there's something that happens in you where the idea of the sacredness of what sex is to a relationship, inside of a relationship,
It's diluted.
becomes so like brought down, like brought low.
Yeah, it's not important.
Diluted, because it's still enjoyable.
So
for
you still want the physical, but you have no reward then
Sure.
from the spiritual and emotional intimate.
Sure, and that's where the big book describes that as we were sore, we were burned up,
Yeah.
And for me, I've definitely been at that place many times in my life, and as of recently, man, like I'm at the place where like it's almost like I'm not gonna say that. I mean, my libido's definitely not down, ladies. Anybody watching this? My libido's definitely not down. But
just if he needed to put out a
just in case
He did his shout out.
Yeah,
just
like,
in case anybody's
like-
watching a potential candidate 40745.
yeah.
So I'm at a place in my life to where I have so many things, so many priorities that are in front of that.
Bring penicillin.
In every way, shape, and form. Like right now, I'm truly just concerned with first of all getting my GED, then getting my CDL, then putting myself in a position to where I'm stable enough mentally, physically, and spiritually before I even entertain even just hooking up with a girl. Because I'm just not. Lately in my mind, in my heart, I just have no desire for it. So I have no desire for the chase. I have no desire for the effort that goes into getting a girl to fall in love with you or getting a girl to like you. I not only do I not have the effort mentally, physically, spiritually, I don't have the finances for it. I mean, if you think that I'm going to pull up in a moped, wearing old clothes without a haircut and a girl's just going to be interested in me for whatever reason, that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
I know myself and I know women enough. I just know the world enough to know that, if you're going to go into anything seriously.
What do you think about that, though? Do you think that, like, you've kind of circled back to that a number of times,
Yeah.
that mindset. Do you think that it's just, like, stereotypical of women to be more materialistic when it comes to... Okay, what are you saying?
No.
then?
I mean, like, I think it's only fair to her that when you do present yourself to that person, you have your shit together. Simple
Okay.
as that. Like, I don't want a girl...
I got you.
I don't expect a girl, a healthy
Yeah.
girl, to
Find
truly
that attractive.
truly pursue a real relationship with somebody who's like, oh, I don't even have a car right now. I'm staying at my friend's house because, I'm for whatever reason getting evicted from the situation that I have with
Yeah.
my mom. Like, I just come with so much baggage and so many problems right now.
Right.
I'd rather get that out of
I
the
got
way.
you. That makes sense.
before. Yeah, yeah.
Do you think...
it's only fair to her.
I
you
say
know?
this phrase a lot to guys because they're always telling me that they're looking, and I'm always like, I got to find the right person, and they're looking for the better situation, and
Sure.
and I always say this a lot. I say, become the person you want to date.
100%. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
100%. That's you couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in a position. I'm trying to be at a place to where, hopefully a year from now or however long it takes, I can be a person to where when a woman meets me, she says, okay, this guy has no debt.
Yeah.
He has no family drama.
Right.
He's spiritually and mentally vulnerable and open to me.
Mhm.
I don't want to bring a woman into a bunch of shit shows. Into a crazy show because I've done that before. And
Yeah.
usually it's not about that.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you're saying, bro.
It's truly about
How long
me.
have you had that plan? How long has that plan been in your head?
Well, this idea didn't come about up until maybe I'd say about a year ago.
A year
About a year ago, and every
Okay.
now and then there's been two women in my life that I was involved with at times to where
What would you say you've done in that year to get to that place that you're looking ahead?
Oh man, well I moved out of my house, moved in with my friend.
Uh-huh.
I'm in the process of like separating from my mom,
Mhm.
and it's very tough emotionally, mentally, and everywhere.
Been a little like
It's been taxing, my mom.
codependent, kind of some weird stuff
Sure,
going on.
there's been a codependent relationship there, but mostly, my mom's a very hard person to deal with, and I think I've tried my best to be helpful to her in the last 3 years, but I think I overshot it and I've done far too much. But also, my living situation, helping my mom out was also beneficial to me because
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, I had it known, okay, she's gonna pay the rent, and then I'll help out with whatever needs to be left over when she
Yeah.
can't pay certain
Yeah.
things. Now, I just lost a job that I made a lot of money, and a lot of that money went to my mom. But point blank, I'm in the process of separating from my mom, and
So in,
it's,
in that year, what is your dating like? Is it the same as you told us last podcast?
yeah. I'm just
It's the same.
I'm just hooking up.
Would
I'm
you
uninterested.
So
in
would
it.
you agree that where you want to be, it's not aligning with what you're like the habits that you're creating? Right?
Sure, yeah. That I was engaging in. Sure,
You know what I mean? Like I've talked for a long time. I want to lose weight. I really wasn't aligning, but now like I'm in a place where it's aligning. When do you foresee that aligning?
I don't have a time frame.
You don't have a
I
time frame for that. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay,
I
fair
don't have a.
But knowing you're at least articulating accurately what the issues are.
Sure, 100%. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why I cut off these two girls, man. Like,
Yeah.
You know, these two girls, they
wanted you to pay.
for what? No, definitely not.
You're paying for this.
These two girls, and specifically, they have helped me out financially
yeah.
tremendously. You know,
Oh, wow.
and within hotels and rides, and even bought me food a bunch of times. And
Okay.
not only am I not okay with that, I'm not okay with, even though they say, okay, yeah, it's just sex, I'm okay with that. You know, I can see it in their heart, in their minds when we're together, that they want something more. They're longing for something more, you know. And I think part of them thinks that I one day will, that this thing that we're doing, you know,
You'll come around.
this hookup,
They're
that one day I'll come around.
They're
Yeah.
gonna change you.
And I'm not, you know, unfortunately with them, I'm not willing to do it. You know, I know myself, and I know that, you know, I have settled before, you know, and eventually it ended up resulting in me cheating on the girl and you know, and hurting her. So to not do that, I'd rather just be on my own right now completely. I'm not on Tinder, I'm not on Bumble, I'm not on none of that.
I'm not doing all that anymore.
No, I'm not interested. I'm simply just not interested because, you know, I have so many things that are in front of that I have to handle before I can even think about entertaining that it's just and on top of that, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, you know, I'm a little sad, man, like with the situation with my mom, man. Like my mom, you know, my mom grew up a nurse. My mom grew up a hardworking human being, and after she retired, she had an aneurysm. And her life kind of just fell apart, you know, and I've had to watch that these last 3 years, you know. I've had to be a witness to that because, like, Axel see my mom, you know, all she was doing at the time was sitting out back and smoking cigarettes and smoking weed. And my mom was never a person that did that. My mom never smoked weed, you know. She hated marijuana, like she detested it, you know. So her, after having her aneurysm and retiring, her life kind of just fell apart, and slowly but surely, like, my mom's mental state becomes worse and worse and worse. So watching that has been very taxing on me. And on top of that, like, that's another thing. Like, I don't want to, you know, at the time where I was living with my mom, I wasn't comfortable with bringing a girl back to my house. And yeah, here's my mom. You know, I don't feel comfortable doing anything with a girl in my room with my mom in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
Didn't stop him.
Didn't stop him, but he didn't feel good about it. He didn't feel good.
Here we go. It didn't always stop me, but
I know, because I live with them.
He's like, this doesn't feel right, but it feels good.
But again, the conversations were had. You know, I would talk to these girls and be like, listen, I'm in this place in my life to where, you know, I live with my mom right now, and almost always I would say I'm helping take care of her, which that was only a half truth. It was mainly just to make it seem like I'm not just a bum, a 28-year-old bum that lives with his mom.
You should have just said she lives with me.
Sometimes I said that, but I didn't always feel comfortable saying that, because even though that was mostly true, you know, I gave my mom a lot of money, and I paid her bills most months, but when I was able to, but I just don't feel comfortable inviting a girl to my house when my mom is in the house. Specifically, if you step in the door of where I live, there's an antenna in my head that goes off. And it's almost like a timer, you know. As soon as you walk into that front door, I'm like, oh boy, I'm like, here we go. How long?
I got you.
Until the deed is done, you know. And I don't feel comfortable doing that with my mom there. So, although all these hookup stories are funny, and although, you know, in the past or in the last,
the last one you told was crazy.
That's not even the craziest past one.
You don't think that's the craziest?
No.
What's the craziest?
No.
Yeah, but you don't think that was pretty crazy?
No, this one is going to be wild.
You eased us in. That was an ease in.
Yeah.
That was an intro.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, because it didn't have a finish.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
The one with the finish.
Okay,
wow.
thank you.
I mean, I got a bunch of wild stories, but I can, and I don't mean to take up all the time of the podcast.
Get to this.
I don't mean to take up all the time.
No, I mean, what would you give me something that's crazier than that?
So something crazier than that. So
what?
Keep in mind, this is coming from the mouth of somebody who, you know, got sober at 21 years old and is trying to do right by God and by sobriety and helping God's kids, other alcoholics.
Was this before or after?
No, this was in sobriety. I'm going to tell the story in sobriety. Before, that's not even worth talking about. That's foolishness.
How long you got in sobriety?
And plus, I don't even really remember.
9 years.
9 years.
Okay, so it's early sobriety.
No.
How long ago was this then? How many years ago was this?
Listen, let the man tell the story.
Yeah. So
I just asked the date.
Trying to put a time frame.
Yeah.
So listen, man.
This was last week.
This is also
2024. I just need a date. I need a timeline.
This is also a traveling story. This is 2021. This is also a traveling story.
During the pandemic.
No. Right after 2021.
Right after, okay.
April 2021. Yeah, April 2021. So
so you're back in that same kind of thing.
I'm traveling.
Traveling,
Houston,
good money.
Texas, good money, beautiful apartment. MPSG, shout out, Danny Davis and Sean Swindle.
Danny Davis.
MPSG
So-
took care of us, you know.
Yeah.
MPSG took care of us wherever they put us up at. So I'm in Houston, and keep in mind, this is coming from somebody who, you know,
Thank you for sponsoring this.
I'm supposed to have a. I'm supposed to, when approaching women and when engaging in women, the spiritual way to go about it in the fellowship that I'm a part of is you write down a sane and sound sex ideal, and then you ask God to help you live up to the sane, sound sex ideal. So this is how you approach a relationship with women, you know,
Okay.
or even just, you know, that can go across to your friends, but specifically with women. Before I come in contact with every woman, I've been taught,
Right.
I've been advised, you know,
Okay.
To wrap it up.
to ask yourself, you know, does this person meet your sane, sound sex ideal that you're asking God helping you, that you're asking God to help you live up to, right? So this person, you know, she can't smoke, she can't drink, she can't be over 185, she can't eat meat on Tuesdays, and she has to pray and meditate before she falls asleep.
Mm.
This is a healthy, sound, and sex ideal
But you still take a
that you want to live up to, right?
You're being comical, but you're saying there is
No,
some.
He's being serious.
no,
the
I'm being
thing is-
serious, 100%.
This is not comical.
Bro, the thing about it, the sane and sound sex ideal, remember I told you about mine was the silver rule? And then now it went from the silver rule to the golden rule? Remember I
Yeah,
was telling
okay,
you?
just so that we're clear for the listeners. Okay, just so
Yeah.
we're clear for the listeners.
I was
You're being facetious.
No, I'm being
No.
serious. I'm being serious.
So you're serious that the girl can't eat meat on Tuesday?
no,
Okay, so you're not being.
That
So
was
you're being facetious.
facetious
Yeah.
of the
Okay.
example.
he had
yes.
no idea
Yes, yes, yes.
what
What am I doing here?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
So
So
look,
there's different ways
No,
you can
he's
create.
serious
Sure.
about the
he's
the
saying
list.
there is a boundary.
Yeah,
he's saying
talking
I
about
was
the
being
list.
facetious about the extent of the list.
Yeah,
so
right.
my
He
list
said there
is
is a
whatever it is. I
Every-
build my list.
sure.
Okay.
Sure. So this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? This is what I'm
Right.
supposed to be doing. As far as keeping spiritually fit as a person in sobriety, this is part of one of those things that you have to do to stay spiritually fit. In Houston, Texas, I was not doing that. Matter of fact, the entire time I was traveling with MPSG, I was not doing that. I was doing the bare minimum. I was praying before I fell asleep and praying in the morning on the way to work because, you know, life was stressful and
Right.
whatever. I'm doing the bare minimum as a
Right.
person in sobriety,
Right.
which in AA, you know, AA calls that resting on your laurels, and that means you are in trouble. Don't rest on your laurels.
Mm.
So I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm in this nice apartment. I'm on Tinder. I match with this very good looking girl. And there's no funniness here.
You think like a scale of 1 to 10, on a
hot.
scale of 1 to 10?
She's
She's
a 7.
7?
7.5.
Nice. Okay.
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
She was
good.
hot.
That's good.
I match with this girl, and keep in mind, almost always when a girl's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Let's hang out. Let's hook up." Like that's
It's an immediate
it's
green light.
done.
Green light. We're going.
I'm gonna have a good night.
And she said that.
We match on Tinder. We start talking, and immediately she's like, "Hey, listen, I don't want to talk. I don't want a conversation. I don't want kisses. I just want to have sex."
Yeah. She
She's-
tells you that straight up.
100%, straight out the gate.
Oh wow.
And tell him the town. Tell him the town.
I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm in
Right.
Houston, Texas right now.
But she's like, let's roll.
She says, "I'm traveling for work. You're traveling for work.
Oh really?
Yeah, let's just hook up." I
It's
don't,
like 2 ships in the night.
2 ships in the night. Two sex addicts finding each
Two
other.
sexual shifts.
Right? If I'm a sex addict, I'm definitely engaging in the conversation then.
Right.
So I go hang out with this girl, right? Keep in mind, I'm sober. I'm in Katy, Texas, and I drive like 45 minutes past the airport to go hang out with this girl because she's saying,
One more question.
Yeah.
When you match with somebody on Tinder, because treat me like an
"You
idiot.
never been on Tinder, bro?"
I've never been on Tinder, so I don't have any knowledge of this. When you match with Tinder, what do you know about their bio? Like, do you know anything?
Whatever it says, whatever it says.
But I'm saying, what would be common?
Nobody
things?
reads those things.
I mean, I don't.
What bio?
Look,
What
if it-
bio?
This is the way I look at
Would
it.
you,
goes straight
okay,
to
let me ask you
pics.
this: would you know how old she is?
Yeah. You know how old she is, where she's from. Like,
Okay,
depending on
That's
the
it.
time,
That's
like-
all you care.
Okay. Okay.
And the bio, look, if it says,
You know when
Hey,
they
hey.
read the bio after they've had sex and they realize this girl is nuts, and
No,
then
no,
they
no.
go back to the bio and go, "Oh
Swipe
man, I
left
should have
with-
read this."
that's only a half truth. Look, if the bio's not crazy, I'll read it.
what would you put on your bio?
My bio says, I don't even know what my bios would have. Most of the time, it would be something to try to make you laugh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
something funny. You
Something
can say
funny.
something like,
Like-
quaint or funny
Like,
or whatever.
You down with
Sometimes
my
I'll just be
BD?
honest and I'll be like, I'm just bored seeing what's out there.
Okay.
I'm
Alright.
that simple. Like,
Alright.
I'm
But you would put your age and
Sure,
you put like a
everything,
normal
everything,
picture.
100%.
You wouldn't
I'm
try
not
to
lying.
pretty it up too much.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Good.
Although I'm photogenic,
You can bring it.
I've catfished girls before for sure because
Yeah.
you look at a picture of me with the phone up here and the angles, you know what I'm saying? That's why I learned to tell them straight up, like, hey, I'm 5'1", I know I look 5'9" in these pictures. I'm not. I'm 5'1", and if they're willing to
You
if,
think the height's a big turn
Sure,
off or
sure.
turn on?
No, but I just like to be transparent. For some
Okay,
girls,
you don't
it
want
is.
them to be surprised.
No,
Okay.
I don't want there to be no
Go ahead.
surprises.
So you're driving past the airport.
Sure. So I drive 45 minutes past the airport. It's a work night.
Are you amped up when you're driving past?
100%.
Yeah, you're amped up because
Bro,
you're
I'm
like, this is
listening-
happening.
I'm listening to music. I'm vaping. I'm scared. I'm intimidated because
Okay.
even though I'm out here in the field, like I'm still naturally a very like when it comes to women, I do have all the confidence in the world, and I got the gift of gab, and I know how to spit game. But at the end of the day, I'm still
Are you worried about performance?
no. I'm just worrying about being rejected. Rejection hurts.
rejection.
Yeah,
Rejection.
rejection hurts. I'm worried about showing up there and
And
her
then she's being like, "Nah, I'm not into
open the
it."
door and be like, "You are 5'1". and
Buyer's
slam
remorse.
the door shut. You know what I'm saying?
But are you worried at all
Thought you were
about
being funny.
what you're
He's like,
bringing
I'm
to the
small,
table?
but big.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's why.
Are you doing anything to like pregame to get yourself ready?
No. I'm my daddy, son. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready to go. I'm
That's
always
Felipe Jr.
I'm always on my toes, baby.
Okay.
I'm always ready to go.
So you're driving past the airport.
So I'm on the way there, and I'm drinking a Red Bull. I got to be at work in 6 hours. Actually, this night, I'm sharing the vehicle that MPSG gave us with this guy, and I have to wake this guy up. It's like 12 o'clock at night. We got to be at work at 6 a.m. We got to be up out of the door at 5:50 to be at the site at 6 o'clock
Right.
in the morning. It's 12 o'clock at night, and I wake this guy up, and I'm like, yo, bro, like, I gotta go. And this guy, he got fired, actually, the day after this. This guy, he's still my friend. I'm not gonna say his name. He's still my friend. We talk on Instagram every now and then. But this guy is like, bro, let me sleep. Because it was technically his car. He was kind of like trying not to give me the keys.
Yeah.
And
But at this point, you're pretty determined.
at this point, like, look.
If I have to steal these keys,
Look,
I'm doing it.
That's pretty much what I said. I was like, bro, you either get up and give me the keys, or I'm gonna come in there and grab the keys. And he was like, ah. He just got up and gave me the keys. Gives me the keys. I'm on the way. I'm drinking a Red Bull. I'm vaping. I'm riding high on the horse.
Real quick, I don't
Yeah.
want to interrupt you too many times, but this is my thing. When I say pregame, like, are you worried at all that amping yourself up with Red Bull could impact your performance?
No.
No, you're just
No.
It'll make him like a jackhammer.
Listen, man. I had just worked
You're gonna
out.
be up all
I got plenty of water fluids in me.
Okay.
Okay. I got
you
some.
know you.
Hey,
Yeah.
nicotine plus caffeine equals protein. So I'm full of protein. I'm on the way there. I'm on the way there, man.
Mike.
And to summarize
Amino
this, man,
acids
I
right
get
there.
there.
Amino
To
acids.
summarize this, I get there, and this chick has
He's a
got-
driving milkshake.
She's what?
So to summarize it, I get there, and this woman has got some alcohol on her breath. Right. She's got some alcohol in her breath. That's a big no-no. Usually,
But she's pre-gaming.
she's pre-gaming.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
she's like, hey, I got to amp myself up for this too, and maybe she needs to be a little buzzed.
She was buzzed. She was
Okay.
buzzed. And I arrived there. To me, usually that's a red flag. Like, had I been in Kissimmee here, had I been in Point Siena, I'm out. I'm out.
You'd have left.
I'd have left immediately.
Why?
Like, I wouldn't have been no conversation because you have alcohol in your breath. I don't want to. We're definitely not gonna kiss. We're definitely gonna make out. It's not gonna be in a healthy, sober, sound state of mind. Like, I'm not willing to do anything with
He's
you.
got
while-
boundaries, He
Got
doesn't want to
boundaries.
relapse.
Specifically when it comes to drugs and alcohol. And
Okay.
I'm not worried about relapse. I'm just,
Right.
that's just something that I don't do now.
Okay.
This is why I say, when I was traveling on the road, I was at my sickest because I didn't care. Like, I was in so much pain and I felt so lonely that I just wanted to get something that made me feel good.
Okay.
I just
Got
wanted
it.
to be
I
able
got
to
it.
do something that
She's
You know-
got alcohol in her breath, but you're thinking, let me
she's
press
got
on.
alcohol in her breath, but I'm not worried about it.
Let me go get gum.
immediately, as soon as she comes out, like, she just starts kissing on me. So I don't
She's
even-
ready to roll.
she's
like, she
ready-
meets you at the door.
At
ready
the door. Meanwhile, an Airbnb that she's renting with like 4 other coworkers, right? So we go upstairs, we do our thing, and
Did you meet the other coworkers?
I saw them.
They were in the other room?
They were in the living room. She was.
So you're passing through the living room?
100%.
And you're like, hey, gals.
I'm like, hey gals, hey guys, and there's a
And it was like,
there's gentlemen in there,
There's a guy in there?
Yeah.
There's a guy in there rolling something in the corner. He's got a chain on. He's got a fake Richard Mille
he
on.
must have
I'm
been
like, okay.
gay or something.
I'm just scanning the room. Trouble. Coworkers look nice. Nice white girls. This person is a travel nurse. So it's
Okay.
it's a nice house. Like
Yeah.
She's
And so she's just literally like walks you through and is like, let's go upstairs.
walks me through. Let's go straight to the room.
Okay.
Like she said, I don't want to talk. I don't even want to get to know you.
But your first impression when she opens the door is, okay, you're attractive.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, wow.
100%.
Okay.
As soon as I see her, I'm like, okay, it really is her. Because that's another thing that's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, what if
So you're like,
I
forget
What if
the
it's a
alcohol.
bait and switch?
What if I show up and then this,
her face is a little twisted.
the 9's looking like a 3, or she's in a wheelchair.
She's looking
So
down.
she walks up to me, which
Open the door.
okay. So we go up to the room, we do our thing, right? I go about my way, I do my thing. Like I said, she had been, drinking and whatever, so she fell asleep. I was like, I gotta be at work in 4 hours. I'm out of here. I take off, go to work.
See, like when you go upstairs.
Yeah.
In your mind, do you think to yourself, because this is what I would think.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just telling. I would be very like subconscious and concerned about what everybody else is thinking.
No.
Like I'd be like, you think they're judging the time frame? Like, do you think that there's like,
Bro,
Pastor
you're a
Mike-
pastor. Of
No,
course you're thinking
yeah.
that.
Pastor Mike, and dealing
He's
with these
thinking
people,
like Kevin Gates.
and dealing with these people.
I'm just thinking with my.
No,
Okay.
and dealing with these people, they know what's going on. I know what's going on. They know what's going on. Like for example, like,
Like,
the,
you should be thinking that.
her
Pastor Mike.
coworkers, I knew
You should, Mike.
that they had just met these guys,
Okay.
right? And that these girls want to do they want to do some stuff, and these guys have that stuff.
right?
So these girls told these guys to come over, and we can enjoy that stuff together.
Ah,
And some of that stuff might get you, some.
So they think they're distracted anyways.
Yeah. They're just, everybody knows what's
Yeah,
going on.
nobody cares.
You're doing your thing. Nobody cares. Everybody knows
I
what's
got
gonna
you.
happen.
Okay.
So boom, I do my thing. I go home. Maybe
know what it is.
a couple days later, she hits me up again, and she's like, "Hey, I want to see you again. Let's hang out." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool, but listen, I told you I don't smoke, I don't drink. If next time we hang out, you can't be drunk, or you can't,
Oh, so you gave her like a
Yeah, I got standards.
To-do list.
I just told her just respect my
Yeah, like a
boundaries,
to-do
like,
list.
No. Like if you want to
The
hang out,
don't
just don't be
list.
drunk. I told her I was like, I don't mind if you drink one beer, but when I saw you that night, you definitely had more than one beer in your system, and I'm not okay with that. Now,
okay.
I drove 52 minutes across Houston. I'm like Denzel. I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah.
So boom, I go to work the next day. So whatever. I go home.
So you're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm leaving with something.
so you're saying you left with a wheelchair last time?
No. I left with a satisfied body. So look,
No, talk about the wheelchair.
time
thing.
goes on. I don't think anything of it. I don't think anything of it. I just think, wow, I scored. Whatever. She was hot. She wanted to hook up.
Right.
Exactly what I want at this
Right.
point in time. Like I just want to hook up. I go to work. A couple days later, she hits me up. She's like, "Hey, let's hang out." I tell her, "Hey, we can hang out, but just don't be drunk." And she was like, "Okay." So she comes over to my house. She comes over to the apartment, and this time she shows up not drunk, but she shows up. She was like, "Do you mind if I bring a 6-pack?" And I was like, "Sure." Like,
a 6-pack.
yeah, I don't think you're an alcoholic, right?
Right.
Non-alcoholics can drink a 6-pack.
Yeah,
So yeah, bring a
6-pack.
6-pack. But even a 6-pack, like
It's a lot for a girl, but that's
It's a lot for a
whatever. Okay. But again, you're ready to power through.
I'm ready.
And she's come to you this time.
She's coming to me. She's coming to
Oh.
me this time.
Okay.
So she comes to me and she shows up and she has a 6-pack. She's sober. By the way, this time that she came over, this is only the second time I was ever in this person's presence. She was looking so good. Like
She's amazing.
she was looking
She
so
might even
fine.
improve to an 8.
I remember he like called me too when it was like,
Yeah, so she shows up looking extravagant. She shows up looking
Yeah.
sensational. And when she gets out of the car, she, goes around to the passenger side and she has her 6-pack, but she opens the door. I remember it was in his Isuzu. A Toyota Isuzu, is that what it is? Or a Ford Isuzu, whatever. It's an Isuzu, an old SUV. She opens that passenger side door to grab the 6-pack, and I see a breathalyzer in her car. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, is that a breathalyzer?
She got to start the car with the
Blow him.
breathalyzer.
Yeah.
She got to start the car with the. I've had some friends.
So look.
Yeah.
So immediately, like
I blow you, you blow me.
my red flags start popping up. But the type of person I am, when a red flag pops up,
You're powering through.
Yeah. You're powering through.
so another one.
Now
pops
you
up.
know you're with an
You're on
alcoholic.
3 Red Bulls
So look,
right now.
So I asked her. I was like, "Is that a breathalyzer?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's funny." And I was like, "Okay, do you think you're an alcoholic?" Like off rip, like just off the top of your mind, what do you think? And she was like, "I know I'm an alcoholic." And I was
Oh,
like,
snap. Well, she's got a lot of awareness.
I was like, "Oh,
Like, damn, she's a newcomer.
okay, cool."
Yeah.
So whatever, we go to the room, and she drinks her beer, and we're talking.
a
And keep in
check
mind,
step.
this is something I want to point out. This is something I want to point out.
Even though she's a newcomer, we coming.
Listeners of Pewology, this is something I want to point out.
Okay.
Every time I have these encounters with these people, like I'm not void of emotion. I'm not void of conversation. Like,
Right.
I'm
You got
not
standards.
I'm not a dog. You know what I'm saying? I am all for having the experience of as if I am all for talking. I am all for not having sex. Like I
Mm.
just want to hang out. If we have sex, then perfect. But like I'm not ruthless with these women. You know.
Mm.
I'm
Just
not-
said I'm like Denzel. If I drive 56 minutes, I'm leaving with something.
But
But I'm not ruthless.
That's different.
That's it.
That's when he has
I'm
to
all
drive.
for her
Right.
being
Not only
on
that-
all fours.
No. Not only that. That's if she's offering. You know, like if,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna force anything on anybody. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm also not treating
I
them
understood
poorly.
I understood.
All
not treating them poorly.
Whoa.
Five.
So this night, as if I remember correctly, you know, she drinks her beer, we talk, we hook up. Whatever. She spends the night. The next morning, she has to go to work. I don't. This was a Friday night. The next morning, she has to go to work, and I remember before she left, she gave me a kiss on the cheek, and then she took off. Right, and then she texted me. She was like, "I had a great night with you," and she says, "That's the first time I've had sex sober since I was like 18 years old."
Oh wow.
That's
How
what
old
she
is
said to me.
she?
At this point, she's 28 years old.
Oh wow.
So
I
we're
need
dealing.
it.
So the more, then you know, the farther I get involved, the more I'm realizing I'm dealing with a potential alcoholic.
Yeah.
I'm nobody to deem you an alcoholic, but if you
Right.
if you show the signs, then you show the signs.
Well, she said she was.
Well, she said she would, but
I've admitted it.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever. She leaves. By the way, she left the beer there. Whatever. I put it in the fridge. Now, fast forward maybe a week. She hits me up. It's a Saturday night. I remember I'm sitting there with this dude. I'm playing Call of Duty. And she pops up on the phone. She's like, "Hey, I want to see you again." I was like, "Great. Last time I saw you, you were sober. Cool. Whatever. If you're an alcoholic, like, I don't care. That's on you. That's your life."
Yeah.
This time she showed up to the apartment like blackout drunk.
Oh.
Blackout drunk. And keep in mind,
blackout
if you
drunk.
know. No. She got so she's texting me and she's like, "I'm on a date with this police officer and he's super boring. He's just talking about the front lines and all this stuff." She's like, she's like, "Listen, I just want to have sex with somebody. Like, let me
He
just
literally
come over."
didn't know. He could have just took me home. He's trying to be a gentleman.
100%. This guy's trying to be a gentleman. Meanwhile, she's like, "I don't care what kind of gun you got or how you
Yeah,
taste
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Like, let's get to the business." She's like, "Can I have him drop me off at your apartment?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure." I was like, "Have you been drinking?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, sure. If you're sober, then easy peasy lemon squeezy. We can hook up and I'll take you home." When she
Shows up
shows
black.
up, she's blackout drunk. She gets dropped off by this cop.
What do you do?
Did you go outside and greet her, or did she just come?
No. She came up. I was in the 4th story, baby. I'm not going down there.
Yeah.
No.
But was the cop looking where she got in? Or do
I don't know. I just said, "You know how to get to the front door. Let me know when you're at the front door." Because I'm playing Call of Duty. I got important business to attend to. So I open the
Because
front
you got
door.
standards.
And she basically falls in to the front door. Now, as soon as she falls into the apartment,
Yeah.
These kill streaks.
I'm in full panic. Like I'm in panic. Like I got my PM underneath, who was just a no nonsense guy.
Yeah.
I'm on the 4th story. On the 3rd floor is my PM. This is the guy that has the power to get me
Yeah,
fired
yeah, yeah.
immediately. And at this point in time, I wanted to keep my job. She's also and she's blackout drunk. Keep in mind, this is also the first time I've been in the presence of somebody really drunk.
Yeah.
In 5 years. I was almost 5 years sober at this time.
Yeah.
I have completely avoided these type of women.
And how many floors you got to bring her up?
4 floors. I'm on the
4.
4th.
Damn, it's like Donkey Kong.
Sure. So she falls into the apartment. She falls into the apartment and I am freaking out. I'm just doing everything. Like she's just, she's belligerent. She's blackout drunk. Like she's
Yeah.
not making any sense. She's incoherent. And she's like, she starts pressing to have sex with me, like
Yeah.
physically. Like she's like, "Come on, let's do it. And I'm like,
On what
Listen.
floor? Like on the stairs?
4th
or-
floor.
in the apartment.
In the apartment.
In the apartment. But,
So-
I'm trying to...
So there's 3 rooms in this apartment. One of them is the master bedroom, which I was not staying in, but it's empty. My room, and then the room next to it, that hadn't even been touched yet. Nobody had even gone into this room yet.
Yeah.
So I started telling her, I'm like, "Hey man, listen, like you got to calm down. Like I got my boss underneath me. You're stomping. You're getting loud. Like
Yeah.
I'm freaking out because I don't know what to do in this situation. I don't know. She's unpredictable. I don't know what she's
yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah.
So I tell her, go in this room, drink some water, and just go to sleep. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Meanwhile, like not only am I freaking out, I am so angry that this chick showed up at my door, blackout drunk. Specifically when I asked her, like, please, like, I literally only have one requirement.
Yeah.
Don't drink. That's it.
You've
That's
got
it.
standards.
My only standard is that you be sober. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
So she goes into that room. She's like, "Okay, I'll go in there and I'll go to sleep." So she goes in there and she's in there for maybe like 2 minutes and she comes out. She's like, "No, I want to have sex." So long story short, I try to convince her. I'm like, "Okay, if we have sex, like, will you go in the room and drink
Yeah.
this water and go to sleep?" And she was like, "Yes, 100%. Now she convinced me. Now I'm like, I don't believe you.
Didn't
don't
take
believe-
much, huh?
Yeah, she's like, Pastor Mike, she twisted my
Oh,
arm.
yeah.
And I'm not proud about this. I'm not proud about this. If there's anything that I'm ashamed of in sobriety, is
This
this
is it.
day. I have sex with her where she's blackout drunk and whatever. As soon as we get done, I'm like, "Hey man, please, like, go in this room, drink some water, and go to sleep. Like you need to get some sleep.
Yeah.
You need to sober up." And she's like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." She's
Drink
like,
some Red Bull.
now at this point, she's naked. At this point, she's naked in my room, like pushing me onto the bed.
She wants-
pushing me onto
she's
the
ready to go again.
Didn't you say you saved some of her beers? I want to
getting-
give her
Forced
2 more
you.
beers. And let
She's
her
getting
pass
she
out.
now at this
She
point
raped them.
she's no. So listen, at this point, when I tell her no, she gets belligerent again, and she's
You told her no.
she's naked. She's punching holes in the walls. She's flipping furniture over.
Oh.
Now I'm like, all right, the cops are gonna knock on my door at any moment. And keep in mind, I am freaking out because I have avoided this with great success throughout my entire sobriety. So I sig and sag my way into her getting her clothes on, and I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna call you an Uber. And she's like, no, I'm not getting in an Uber. I'm like, listen, like, please, like, why would you want to stay here? Like, there's no reason for you to want to stay here. I don't even know why you came here. I told you that I don't want anybody in my vicinity while you're drinking. So I was like, listen, you either get in this Uber, you go home, or I'm gonna call the police and have them remove you from here. You know, I have no choice because I don't want you to stay here. You know, you're
Right.
in an apartment that my company's paying for. Like my
Yeah, I just got mine. I don't need you anymore. Get out.
that's not it at all. My boss is underneath me. Like, not only am I worried about my job, I'm worried about
Yeah.
my sobriety, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm not even necessarily worried
But
about
you were
her.
worried about that after you brought it up to the fourth floor.
Can you let
No,
him
no, no,
finish?
no, no,
Can
no,
you
no.
let him finish?
Had she told me I'm
That's
blackout
what she
drunk
said.
before she showed up, I would have been like, go home.
Yeah.
Like, go to the cop's house.
So
Don't
when
come to my house.
when you opened the door, you didn't realize. Oh,
100%, I
go
realized.
back with the
Yeah,
cop.
he
as soon as
You didn't
possible.
hear him?
Yeah.
Call the
I
cop
did.
back.
He
I-
called that part.
I explained that. Yeah. Long story short, she gets into an Uber. She gets into an Uber, and when she gets in the Uber, that's when I unleash. Like, over text message, I'm saying all kinds of nasty stuff to this chick, because now that she's out of my vicinity, she's out of the apartment, out of the complex, I can say how I really feel versus being like, okay, yeah, I understand. Like, I'm dealing with somebody who's blackout drunk. You know, these
Yeah.
people aren't rational. You have to almost treat them like a baby and I literally had to, like, in a roundabout, like, convince her to get into this Uber, right?
Okay.
So I have that experience, and in my head, I'm like, man, like, I'm back at this place. You know, I'm back in this place where I'm dealing with random people, and I'm putting myself in sketchy situations in sobriety. You know, if I was a guy that was also smoking and drinking at this time, then that wouldn't have been an issue. I would have had a good time. I'm not.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to be a stand-up guy in sobriety. I'm trying to only involve myself with people who are sober and want to help God's kids, even
Yeah.
with women. So whatever. Now I'm back in this place. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that was a close one, right? That was a close one.
Right.
The next day, you know, we texted back and forth, and I said all this, you know, all this angry shit to her, and she said all this, you know, nonsense stuff back to me. Anyway, the next morning she wakes up and she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry about last night. You were right. I'm an alcoholic. I'm gonna get help."
Yeah.
She was like, "I'm going to a meeting today after work.
Oh wow.
Thank you." And I was like, "Cool, good." I was like, "If I can help in any way, which I don't think I can, if I can help in any way, I will. Good luck in your life."
Yeah.
Right? Let's say good luck in your life. This is in Houston, Texas. Something happens in Houston, Texas. You know, I get into an argument, into a disagreement with a PM. Cuss words went left and right. I get shipped off to New York. You know, I get a call from Danny Davis saying, "Hey man, you know, what's going on?"
This ain't working out.
Yeah, this.
We're
no,
gonna
no,
move
no,
you.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
at Houston. You know,
Yeah.
I told Danny. I remember the conversation went something like, "Hey man, if it's me, if I'm the problem, then give me my plane ticket home, and I'm out of your way. No hard feelings."
Yeah.
And Danny Davis was like, "It is not you." He's like, "Believe me, it's not you. I'm more on your side than you'll ever know."
Yeah.
That's what he said to me. And in that moment, like, it was a breath of fresh air. Like, that's the last
Yeah.
thing I thought he was gonna say. So whatever, I get sent to upstate New York. I'm in upstate New York for about 2 months when I get a text message from this girl named Marissa.
Same girl.
Same girl. Marissa is the
In
girl
New
that I
York?
hooked up with. Yeah, I'm in New
She
York.
lives in New York.
No.
She's just in New York.
She's in Houston. She's in Houston. Her dad actually lived in
Oh.
Syracuse.
But she's texting you from Houston.
She's texting
Okay.
me from Houston.
And
At
she's
this
like,
point,
"Hey,
she's
let's
in
hook
Austin,
up."
Texas. No, she's not saying, "Hey,
She
let's hook
says,
up."
"I'm pregnant."
She says, "I'm pregnant."
No.
She says, "Hey, we got something to talk about." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "I'm pregnant." And I was like,
Call the cop.
No.
Call the cop.
I was like, "Why are you telling me that?" And she was like, "Is this yours?" And I was like, "No, it's not." So anyway, she texted me saying she's pregnant. She ended up being pregnant, and the baby did end up being mine. Now,
He hasn't seen her since.
ever, I've never met my daughter. Never met my
Oh,
daughter.
whoa.
She's somewhere in Boston. So I was only, keep in mind, I was only in this girl's life. I was only in this girl's presence physically 3 different times. 2 completely different strangers that just hooked up. And really, I was only in her presence once because 2 of those times she was under the influence of alcohol.
When do
It
you
was-
think the knockup happened? The first, second, or
Yeah, but
third?
hold on.
Second
hold on,
time,
hold
the
on,
second
hold on,
time.
hold on. So many
Second
questions. So, like when you say
the sober time.
this is your daughter, how do you know?
DNA test. We did DNA.
Oh, you did a
Yeah.
DNA test.
Yeah, so during her being pregnant, how long have we been going? I don't mean to take up all the time. So during her being
No,
being
keep
pregnant,
going.
you know, at first I'm like, no way. I'm like, no way. Like, I have shot the club up thousands of times This is the only time I've ever gotten a
Bro,
girl
and
pregnant.
when he said this to me, I was like,
Yeah, but hold on.
hold on. Let me
okay.
talk. So he says that exact same thing. I shot the club up plenty of times and nobody's ever gotten hit. You know,
Yeah.
nobody got pregnant.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm like, yo, look at everybody you've been shooting up. They were all addicted to drugs, and their uterus probably don't even work. Like,
There's a truth to that. There's a truth to that.
What?
I'm not gonna say that.
Like the Scarface.
Yeah, well, hold on.
I'm not gonna say that,
I'm
but-
just going to ask a
Her
question.
womb is polluted.
I just want to ask a question here.
Straight up.
I guess I was assuming,
straight up.
but I, you know what they say about assuming, right? I mean, it's not. So I was assuming.
that I wore a condom.
Well,
No,
that
never.
was too much. That's too much to assume. But I was assuming that
Yeah.
you were at least taking some manual preventive measures.
No. Back then.
Manual as in like
Listen. This
manual?
is Jesus.
No,
This
back-
is Jesus's.
like pull out.
This is how Jesus protects himself with sex. The girl's like, "Do you have a condom?" And he goes,
No, so
Okay,
no.
hassle.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna-
so hold on.
He's talking about the pull-out method.
Okay,
It's
okay,
what I was-
okay. Hold on.
I was
Hold on. She tells you over the phone.
Yeah.
You then take a DNA test. She sends you
no,
the
no, no,
result.
no. I don't take a DNA test right then and there. No,
Oh,
no.
how long did it take DNA
so,
test?
So that's where I was going. So
Okay.
"Okay,
during her
let him
preg-
finish, Mike."
during her pregnancy, she said that we could possibly do prenatal. What is it, prenatal DNA test? While she's pregnant, they go in and
Yeah.
they take the baby's
Yeah.
DNA.
In utero.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she suggested that, and I was like, no way. That's
You were like, "We're gonna go half on that."
It was too expensive.
$4,000.
It's a lot of money.
So you didn't want
Over
to do
$4,000. I was like, no way. I'm not gonna spend $4,000 for this baby to possibly not be mine.
that. Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, to her defense, she's telling me like, this baby's yours.
It's
Like,
100%.
it's 100% yours.
And you're
she's
like, "No
I-
way."
She's like, I knew when I was ovulating. April 3rd is when, we hooked up and the deed happened. I was ovulating around that time. Like, I have it on my phone. Like, it's 100% yours. And I'm like, okay, I believe you. But to be safe, I got to see a DNA.
Well, that's kind of
test.
a weird statement, though, right?
It almost makes you think that she knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It almost makes her brother think that this was
She
done on
set
purpose.
you up.
Now, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
You're not
that.
saying that.
I'm not saying that.
But you're
But-
saying,
But why would she set him up? She's a nurse.
But I'm saying
and
it's,
she's a nurse. I
I'm
forgot.
saying if she knows for a fact, I don't know what to think. I'm just taking the precautions.
Okay,
Of,
okay.
I was like, okay, I'm not willing to do that. What I am willing to do is 100% be your friend.
You want to be
And-
friends
and-
now.
And a care. I'm willing to
Mhm.
do whatever it is I have to do to accompany you through this pregnancy. Like, I go to the doctor's appointments with you. I'll send you money. Like,
Did you do that?
I was willing to. I
You
was
were willing
I
to do it.
present this on-
Willing.
I put this on the table and I say, whatever it is that you need from me, I am willing to do it, even if the baby's not mine. you
Right.
know? Even if the baby's not mine, you can just become a person in sobriety with whom I can be helpful
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
She says, nope. At first, she's like, I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe I'll abort it. I don't know. Right? So she finally hits me with this. She's like, listen, if you're not willing to do the prenatal DNA test, then we should have no contact until this baby's born.
Okay.
To
Which
do
I
the
think
DNA
it's not unreasonable.
That's not unreasonable.
That's not
right?
unreasonable.
Which, I mean, that's not necessarily what I-
because she's saying she's 100%, but you're not 100%.
Right.
So you're thinking, let's wait until the baby comes, then we'll do a DNA test.
Sure.
Okay.
23andMe, $39.99.
So here's what happens. Boom, the baby's born. I do the DNA test. My daughter, Mila Salguero, is born. By the way, I asked her, are you going to put my name on the birth certificate? She says yes.
She gave you the name.
Yeah, I named her. I named my daughter.
You named her.
Yeah. I like the name Mila because of Mila Kunis. She liked it because it's short.
So you're
for
on the birth
Milagro.
certificate?
I am not.
Oh.
She lied to me and told me she was going to be on the. At one point, we were cool. We were on great terms. Like, I would text her every week, and she would be like, "Hey, this is happening. I'm working. This is happening." Like, we kept contact, right?
Okay.
Meanwhile, like, I go from New York to Florida, back to Miami to.
So she gave
California.
the baby the name you wanted and your last name.
No, she gave the baby the name I wanted, but she agreed with it because she said it was short for Milagros, which is my aunt's name, and it's short for miracle. You
Okay.
know? I just like the name Mila because of Mila Kunis. Shout out Ashton Kutcher. So the baby's born. I do a DNA test. The baby comes out. It turns out to be mine. They said 99.99. I was like, who does the 0.1 belong to?
Mm.
Her.
Just kidding.
Okay.
So the baby's born. It's my daughter, and immediately, like,
I'm
as
gonna steal
soon as the don't steal my joke, though. Don't steal my joke. As
thought
soon
the
as
same
You don't even go on stage.
yeah.
Bro, every man stopped the same thing.
So the baby's born, and it's my daughter. And from this moment on, I could sense that, like, you know, she was very defensive, very standoffish.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you pay child support?
I do not pay child support. At this point, I don't know. But as soon as I find out the baby's mine, first of all, I remember exactly where I was at. I was in a Walmart break room thinking about walking out of Walmart because I can't believe I'm working back at Walmart. And I get a call saying, "Hey, this is your baby." And I go outside, I call my sponsor, and I'm like, "Hey, man, the baby's mine." I'm like, whatever. We have a conversation. He congratulates me. Shout out Mike Diagro. He also lives in upstate New York nowadays. So I tell her, at this point, she hadn't shown me any pictures of the baby. My daughter was born January 3rd, 2022. She hadn't shown me any pictures of the baby. I don't know what this child looks like.
Right.
I just know that, you know, I swabbed my mouth, and I told her, "Hey, listen, like, if you're going to do this DNA test, like, I'm not there to watch you swab its mouth. You're not going to send me a video. Do it correctly. Like, please, like, don't bamboozle me. Don't swab your mouth and then, you know, whatever. You tell me it's not mine, and then I got a baby out there without knowing."
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm going to do it correctly." And this whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm trying to plan, like, if the baby is mine, like, I'm in Florida, you're in Austin,
What kind of
Texas.
test did you do? Where?
It was a mouth swab. It was a mouth swab.
Mail in?
Yeah.
That's how they do it. They mail
Yeah.
it.
Mail us in,
You can
mouth
do it
swab.
with CVS. now.
Yeah. How
Send
much
it
was
back.
that?
I think
That
like
was
$40 normally.
No, this was $210 because it was from
Oh,
state
wow.
to
I
state.
think they're down now. Like
Yeah.
I think
they're
now you
down.
can do it for like $40
Yeah,
bucks.
50 bucks. 30. I saw $39.99.
I should have just looked at her arms and ears.
Who paid for that? Did you pay?
I paid for that.
Okay, all right.
So boom. Immediately I'm like, "Hey, let me see some pictures of my daughter." You know,
Right.
like I've always, like I said, I long for a family, for kids. Like I've
Doesn't seem
always wanted that.
unreasonable.
I still want that.
Yeah.
So now that I found out I have a daughter, I am so excited. Like I'm the happiest I've ever been. It's a crazy feeling. You felt it. Everybody has kids here. So I got these pictures of my daughter, and immediately I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Does she have my last name?" And she was like, "No, I didn't put your last name on the birth certificate. I give her my last name." I'm like, "Whatever. I'm not even tripping about that."
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think, like, you know, what are we going to do? How are we going to plan? What's going to happen?
You're kind of assuming you're going to get some time with her.
100%.
Okay.
Because she was telling me that I was
Okay.
at this time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so when am I going to meet her? Like, this is January. I could probably be in Austin, Texas for like 2 weeks for my birthday. And we can, you know, in the future, I can either move to Boston or move to Austin, to wherever it is you're going to be at.
Yeah.
I will move there if you're willing to engage in this with me.
Yeah.
And she was saying she was for the longest time. And for a while, like, she was just, you know, I'm calling her and I'm texting her every day. And she's just kind of ignoring me, kind of like leaving me on the back burner. And finally, one day I called her on FaceTime and I was like, "Hey, man, like, I want to see my daughter. You know, like, I understand, like, you know, we're complete strangers, but now we have to do the right thing and come together and raising this child. You know, we have to do the right thing. Like, us as adults, we messed up. We have to do the right thing for this kid to not grow up traumatized and another statistic." And we're on FaceTime and she shows me my daughter briefly, and then she flips the camera and she's like, "I don't want to talk to you anymore. Bye." And she hung up on me. And after that, she sent me these 3 definitely long paragraphs. And keep in mind, like, she says she's been sober this entire time. I'm sure she was sober through pregnancy. My daughter's mom is not an unreasonable human being. You know, she's not crazy. She doesn't do drugs. She's definitely, you know, that was definitely a low moment in her life, and she showed some signs of alcoholism. But in every other aspect, she has her stuff together. You know, she just graduated with her. At this time, she was going to the University of Austin, Texas. She graduated with her master's. Like, she works like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think she's a bad person. So I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt and being a healthy human being in this situation. But she sends me these long messages basically saying that I gaslit her into thinking the baby wasn't hers and that I wasn't there her entire pregnancy and that she did everything on her own and that I have no say in this child's life. She's basically saying, "This is my kid, not yours," you know? And that's how she proceeds to go about it. You know, my plan for me on my 28th birthday was to meet my daughter. You know, I landed in Austin, Texas, April 21st, and that's when I was going to go to her house. I mean, we already had this plan. But this happened, you know, I'd say about 3 weeks prior to me going to Austin, Texas. So whatever, long story short, I arrived in Austin, Texas, and from her sending me those paragraphs on, from that moment on, she completely just cut me off. You know, I land in Austin, Texas, and I go to her house, and I see her car, and I see people moving around the house, and I knock on the door, and she didn't open the door. You know, she just ignored me, and she has continued to do that since. Wow. Yeah. So that's a crazy story. That's crazier than a girl in a wheelchair. So shout out to my daughter wherever you are. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've never met my daughter, man. It's almost like.
But he knows where his daughter is now.
I know the city.
He knows where
she's in Boston. I know that. I know that she's ortho something at Dartmouth regional center in Boston.
So you
So I
got how
know
many
she's
kids?
there.
2?
One.
That's your only.
Just
your
that's my
daughter.
only child. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. But I'm not on the birth certificate, so I have no legal standing with this child.
Yeah.
I would
DNA.
you would have
Yeah.
to you have to prove it to the court. You have
Yeah,
to prove it to
you
the
just
court.
show up
You
with
don't have
the
the
DNA.
results.
No,
You
no,
don't
no,
have
no,
the
no.
paperwork.
No. I have the paperwork, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work like that. You don't just show up with the
What do you
DNA
mean?
test.
You
have to-
submitted it to somebody. Somebody's got the results.
Sure, yeah, but with the court system, you have to prove it through the court. So the court has to
Yeah, but-
hire somebody
Okay.
and then do the DNA.
No, they
Have
don't.
you gone to
Yeah,
court?
No, they don't,
Yeah.
bro. I
No.
went to court.
Yeah.
I went to court with Josiah.
Thank you, Matlock and
No,
Shapiro
no,
over
but-
here.
No,
Hey,
no.
look,
Hold on.
Chris,
Hold on.
when-
I'm
look,
gonna
when I-
give you my
hey,
gift. I'm gonna
hold
give
on.
you my gift. If you,
Please,
as a
please.
man, listen. No. You talk a lot of this God and this. I'm trying to line and try to have a family. You need to seek this child out, however, and get in contact, get custody, pay child support, and own up for your half
So look,
of that child's
so look,
life.
Ray, I
Whether you
appreciate-
want to hear it or not, it's a fact.
So look, I appreciate that, Ray, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's very easy to throw out opinions like that.
No, it's not opinion.
Bro,
It's a
check this
fact.
out,
You
check this
go
out. It's
seek
very
it, you go
easy to-
get it.
But check this out. It's very easy to say things like that without being in the position, And I'm not just thinking about me. I'm thinking about, would this be helpful to my child and Marissa as a whole? My child's already 2.5
But
years
her,
old.
Her not having you in the life is not beneficial
Yeah.
to your
I'm not
daughter?
saying that. That was her choice.
Let's think
I'm
through
not
it.
saying
Let's
that. That was her choice.
let's. Okay.
You have a right.
Okay,
to
hold
that
on.
job.
So I
Hold on.
Hey,
Hold
I-
on.
Yeah,
can I
go
just
ahead.
say one thing too?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Ay.
When I went to court for Josiah, the judge asked me, "Did you guys do a DNA test?" And I said,
Mhm.
"Yes." With what? The CVS thing. She said, "That's good enough."
You're
Again,
right.
Again, this is very
You're
easy to say,
right.
but both of you guys were in Florida.
You're
It's
right.
completely
For
different
Florida.
when it's state to state.
I
It's different when
guarantee
state
you
to
it's
state.
very different in
And
Boston.
And in Austin,
Okay,
Texas.
but there's a
it's
way.
completely different.
Marriage-
They don't just go, hey, this is
Guys,
Boston.
that's
so
why I
nobody
brought
gets
my
DNA
glasses.
test.
Guys, marriage law,
Yes, let me borrow.
marriage law and family law in every state
It's
is
different. That's
very,
fine.
very different.
fine.
It's
Sure,
not
sure,
the
sure,
same
sure.
in any state.
That's
So
fine.
to answer,
And I want to make sure you understand that you're being hard, but I want to make sure
no,
you
I'm not being
understand
hard. I'm being
the
real.
only way he could access that child is through
The court.
an
Right.
attorney that he would
Okay,
have to pay
court
for.
attorney, yeah.
And an out-of-state attorney for a case like that, minimum
it's upwards
for
of
him
$25,000.
would be 20 grand.
I paid $20,000. I
Yeah.
paid
That's,
$9,000.
now listen, I want to make sure you understand.
Yeah.
It's 20 grand cash up front.
Okay,
No financing.
okay.
That's what they want. So before you're just handing down condemnation real quick,
No,
give
it's
the
not
guy a break.
condemnation.
So here's the
There's
thing.
not a lot of
Or he could
people
file
who want-
indigent.
Bro, he's had 2 years. If he saved $100 a week for the last 2.5 years,
Here's the
he'd
thing.
have the
Here's the
30
thing.
grand.
Every time I say this to somebody,
or
there's
you could-
always that
I'm
guy.
just saying.
There's always that guy, like my cousin and this dude, that are like, "Oh no, if that was my kid, you know what I would do? I would get in my
I'd sell
car
blood
and I would drive to Boston
You-
and I would sell 15 kids just to get access to my kids." Like, I get it. It's very easy to be opinionated and hysterical when it's not you and you're not in the situation.
I believe
On
I
top of
met
that,
you in
check
the
this out.
parking lot of a nail house, and you were like, "I'm a dad and my daughter and all this," and I thought she was with you in the States.
No, that's not true. No.
Okay.
But
no.
here's the other thing too is that I think the assumption. I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, and I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying I'm right.
and I'm not saying that what's happened here is the best outcome, right?
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So what do you suggest? Just
well,
nothing?
I guess what I would tell you is this: is that I equally would say that the assumption that him interjecting his life now into a 2-year-old girl who obviously has a support network, a family, and a mom who's not interested in doing a healthy co-parenting routine,
Might not be
and
healthy
him
for
being in a
anybody.
different state, it may
I was
not
adopted
be.
at 4,
Right.
and I never knew who my real parents were. My dad was my dad.
Exhibit A.
What I'm saying
I mean,
to you is
you
that just believing that that is the best outcome is naive too. I'm not
Right.
saying it wouldn't.
No,
be.
no, no, no.
Right.
I just,
I'm just saying you're
I
acting
just-
like it's the only
I
possible
didn't.
outcome.
What's
in this
another?
book.
What's the middle ground then? If this is too far away and this is doing nothing, because that's where we're at.
Well, the middle
Where's the
ground
middle
is
ground?
the middle ground is a painful ground, which is this girl is not old enough to make decisions for herself.
Okay.
When she turns 18, she'll
but
find
when
me.
she gets old enough, she will.
So you're
Right.
still at nothing, basically. You're nowhere really.
Well, I'm saying
You're not
to
even-
you,
15 more years.
you're
that's
not
what we
even
got.
given an option for her to grow up to be 18 and be like,
Right,
you
I
never tried
wasn't-
to be in my life.
I wasn't given that option.
Well-
I tried to be in her life.
'Cause that
And I think
happens
She'll know
too.
that. She'll know that.
I guess
She'll
what
know that.
I guess my argument on his
It's complex.
on his behalf is that is pretty complex, and it's not like he didn't try. It's that the mother who is in control of the situation right now, because of the system we have in place,
Mhm.
has said no.
Okay.
Has said
Simple
no.
as that.
I'm not saying that doesn't mean he shouldn't pursue it.
Right.
It's up to him.
Well,
I'm
check
just
this out.
saying the assumption that the only right thing is for him to pursue it. I'm not sure that we could say that.
So look,
is
at the
true.
very beginning, I was very gung ho. Oh no, I'm going to court, and that's my child, and I'm going to be there, and I was very naively, ignorantly thinking this was an easy process. It's not. Not only is it not an easy process, it's an expensive process. Specifically, if you're doing a state to state and you're not on the birth certificate. So again, like people throw out opinions. Oh, you need to do this and you do that. People who have never been in a. Trying to.
Bro, I've been in
I'm trying
the
not to curse.
very exact same thing, other than the state to state thing.
And
Right.
the being on the birth certificate thing. You
I
were on
wouldn't.
Josiah's birth
I'm
certificate.
not on his birth certificate. He doesn't have my last name.
Were
Yeah.
you not on his birth certificate? When he was
No.
born.
When he was, I wasn't there when he was born.
Okay.
I was not. I was out of state, and she didn't put me on the birth certificate.
Also-
I had to do all of the same things. I filed indigent.
The situation
Right.
is different.
I didn't file. I didn't get a lawyer. I mean, I know the situation is different because we're in Florida, not in Houston.
I wish
Not
I,
just-
could, I wish I could debate. I'm gonna do some research.
But-
and
Not
get
just
back
that.
to you
Not
on
just
this,
that. Not
because
just that. Not just that.
It boggles my mind that somebody that doesn't have the financial ability can't reach their own blood child.
So check this out. Not just that. Drea was willing
Well,
to talk to you.
I would-
Drea was more than willing to talk to you. This girl like
Only-
completely cut me off.
Only-
Completely cut me off. Even if it's only for money,
It is
only
different.
for a kiss, only for it's different.
You understand?
You have communication with
You have to
her.
understand that if this happens a lot, guys. I'm surprised that you don't know this, but this happens a lot. That if the one of the parents
Doesn't want you to.
who has control of the child and custody of the child wants to cut the other person out,
They can.
it's not that they can, it's that they can make it very, very difficult
So
on the
here's
other
the-
person to get
so,
contact.
So,
Yeah.
But he knew exactly where she lived at that time.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was the best opportunity to do so.
Sure.
Here's the thing. At
But
that
think
time,
about it. If you show up, I'll
Yeah,
defend you. I'm going to be your lawyer for a second.
Okay.
Jesus
If
Christ.
he shows
Thank you.
up,
Yeah.
right? If he shows up,
Donkey kicks the door
And-
in.
Well, not
listen to me.
even Donkey King. I'm saying being there in Houston.
Yeah.
You know where she lives.
Also,
File the damn.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Do
here's
the
the-
petition.
Because Houston might have been the same as
Do
Florida.
petition for Pretoria and do exactly the same thing I did while you're there in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Okay, so his options were let me be in Houston,
Yeah.
right? And let me file a petition
Mm-hmm.
with the court,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
To get access to my daughter.
To get access to daughter, I'd have to file indigent, which means I'd have to wait on the state to give me an attorney to file. And
Mhm.
now we're
No,
talking
You could do that without an attorney. I did
No, there-
everything without an attorney.
in most states, in order for him to then get control of the child, to be before a judge, right? You're going to have to either present it yourself or you're going to have an attorney.
right.
And in order to be in front of that judge and have an attorney, you're going to have to wait there. So now we're going to be there, let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, waiting on this case to come into
Took
place.
way. It took way longer.
Yeah.
Than that.
It'll take months.
I'm giving him months. And then once he gets there, this is what the judge is going to ask. The judge is going to say,
Everybody's debating without any research right now. That's all I'm saying.
No,
Well,
I've been through this. I know.
feels
I know
like the-
what
I'm,
the answer
I'm
is.
feels
betting
like a
that I'm
politician.
betting that I'm the person that's been in family court the most. I'm betting.
But you just
Well,
said every state's different.
it is
And
different.
laws change.
It is different, but this is what the judge is going to ask. The judge is going to ask, where do you live?
Kissimmee, Florida.
Yeah. Okay. How do you want to arrange? Because it's going to be on his dime to have the baby go back and forth to
And I'm gonna
Kissimmee,
have to
Florida.
pay for her court fees.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna have to pay for her lawyer
Yeah.
to show up.
And the judge is going to say, I'm going to need to do a home study of your home
Sure.
to prove that you can house this child
So you have been in
that
a
you
lot-
have to pay
Okay.
for.
They didn't do that with me.
Yeah.
Your situation may have been different. I'm just
Completely
telling you,
different.
that's
Completely
what's going to happen. There,
100%.
especially an out-of-state judge is going to say, no. I don't know you from Adam. There's no one here that could prove this for you. You're going to have to do a home study. We're going to have to prove that you're suitable for this. I don't know if you live in a car.
Right.
I mean, 2 years later, yeah, but if you do it at the
On top,
moment of the
on
birth,
top of
around
that,
that
on
time,
top of that, we're
it'd be
dealing
like
with a
you're
person.
claiming rights right away. It might be different. Might have been different.
Yeah, but think about what he's saying, right? Like at the time, he had no reason to believe she's going to cut
So
him
you're saying
off.
that when she turns 18, he could do the same thing and he's going to get, oh my God, you have legal rights now because she's 18? Or
No,
they
no.
might be like,
No,
you
I'm
haven't
You can
saying
seek him out.
I'm at 18, she can seek him out.
Yeah.
That's her. That's the child.
And that's where I'm at.
Well, what if the
Hopefully-
mom says you're dead and you don't exist? So why would she seek
That's
you out?
also a
Well,
possibility.
that's a possibility too, but we live in a world today where
It's
like,
digital.
digital, where
Yeah.
it's going to
Yeah.
find out real quick,
Yeah.
and everybody's DNA is in a computer somewhere. And
So here's where I'm at. So
I
at this
can't tell you how
time,
many people at the church found their relatives.
He's got to get famous enough now
so
to
check
where
this, so check this out, Pastor Mike. Check this out, Pastor Mike.
I want child support.
Listen,
I pay
I'm not saying it's great. All right, I'm not trying to defend you to say you shouldn't seek out your daughter. I'm just saying, well, I'm giving you a little bit of understanding that it's a tough situation.
Well, look,
It is-
in this
it is
situation
tough.
where I'm at financially, I can't do anything. Nothing. Like nothing. Like you said, 20K and up. I do not have.
How were you 2 years ago? You just said you had a really good
I
job.
was,
and
I was
that
fucking
done.
broke.
Yeah.
When I came home from MPSG, I was broke. I spent
Yeah.
$10,500 moving into the house that I was living in. So look,
Yeah.
I'm broke at this time, right? I give this lawyer my last $3,000 to file a petition for parentage.
Mm.
They respond and they basically say, okay, we're willing to do this, but you're gonna have to pay for everything. You're gonna pay for our fees. You're gonna pay for like every hearing. You're gonna pay for
Yeah.
everything. From her side, from my side, they were like, not only are you gonna have to pay for everything, but it's gonna be like another $9,000 to proceed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I got $112 in my bank account. I'm like, then see you, biscuit. There's nothing I could do here.
You got to remember, most of the time that there's a motivation. I just tell you guys can understand. There's a motivation on the woman's part, right? If the woman doesn't want the father of the child in the life of the child, then her means to do that is to cut them off without child support. The last thing they want to do is put him on child support.
Right, because then you have
'Cause
access.
then he'd have
yeah,
access.
Of course, that's
Yeah.
why.
So they want
yeah, I already
to cut
figured
this
that.
person off and act
Yeah.
like he's dead.
Yeah,
Right.
That's why I asked. Are
That's
you
what
paying
she's
child
done.
support?
That's what she's done completely.
Yeah. That's what that happens a lot,
Yeah, I know.
especially
I know
state
it
to state
does,
custody.
but a lot
Yeah.
of the laws are changing, even
Yeah.
with child support.
No, I mean,
They have
there's
the right for the father to see the child.
absolutely the divorce laws and absolutely custody
change
laws
all
have
the
gotten
time.
better. They've gotten better for guys, especially. I'm just saying
Recently,
the whole reason that women do it the
Watching the
way that
news
his girlfriend
recently.
has done
yeah,
it
I get it.
is to avoid all contact with him.
Okay.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
And not my girlfriend, a stranger.
A friend, yeah.
A stranger. That's why I don't
Your baby mama.
look. I don't think what she's doing is right. I think it's going to affect my daughter negatively. The fact that I'm not there, because if it would be one thing, I didn't meet my dad till I was 14 years old. But my dad already had 9 kids when I was born. He was smoking crack. He's selling drugs. Like, my mom did the right thing in separating, completely cutting my dad off. Which, by the way, me having this experience, like, made me understand my dad's plight so much more. Like, I used to think exactly what most kids, this guy wasn't there for me. And, he had all these kids and he didn't care about me and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, he was an active addiction. That's difficult.
He was an
but you're
active
not.
addiction. Once I had this experience, it made me realize, like, man, I understand why my mom did what my mom did. I understand the kind of life that my dad lived, but I also can't justify what she's doing because I'm not on drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a piece of shit.
Hey, you don't seem like a
You
bad
know?
guy
I'm not this guy. I'm not. You don't know me.
Yeah.
You never gave me the chance.
unless you listen
Never
to the
gave me the
podcast.
chance to get to know
Yeah.
me and get to know who I really am and what I want to become. So, and in her defense, again, I'm a stranger.
Yeah.
Nobody, no woman wants to.
Well, no
risk.
woman, think about it. I mean, one of two things is probably true. Okay. I'm just hypothesizing. I'm not saying I'm right. But based upon the story you've told and only your side of the story, one of two things is possibly true, potentially true.
Yeah.
Either she had no intention, she had complete intention to get pregnant and no intention of having a relationship with you
Possibility.
at any level whatsoever.
Possibility.
Right? She just went out and found somebody to impregnate her, which is possible.
Big.
And does
Highly
happen
possible.
a lot.
Yeah.
Or she did not plan to get pregnant,
Yeah.
but the way she got pregnant, neither you or her are very proud of, and is
Correct.
not to put you in a great light as like father potential.
I'm gonna go with the second theory.
Correct.
That's a more probable one.
Both.
And-
Maybe.
and she was very spiteful enough to be like, this is your baby and you're never gonna see her
Yeah.
again
Evil.
Yeah.
because of what you said to me when
Yeah.
that night when you threw
There's
me
a
out.
lot of factors to it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
If I'm
she,
a woman,
she could be
Top
very
I don't want
motivated.
to. I don't want to have a
Yeah.
5'1" daughter. I want to look for like a 6-foot daughter.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of
Complex.
like, hey, if there's nothing about the story you told that has any love
Right.
or honor
Right.
or goodness in it.
Sure.
And so
I
The
mean, you
fact
did say
that-
it was the first time she slept with someone in 10 years sober, so maybe there was love there.
this is your assessment?
I mean, hey, we're broken, right? Think about it.
There
But
was
look,
She
there
broke
was
the
love
streak.
there.
She broke the
up
streak.
the
Yeah.
She
tender.
broke the streak.
What,
That's
of all
why
the
she went on a
conversations
date
they
with a
had?
cop the next day.
Yeah, what's wrong
Hey,
with you?
love is love. You find love
She's
in
like,
the most
I can
unusual
do this
places.
dating thing.
Okay, listen. I'm
Oh
just
my
saying,
God.
if that's the case, I'm not judging that too. I'm saying we're calling it what it is.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not,
not
no
judging you.
judgment.
We're
I'm not
not
angry
judging
with
you.
you.
I'm
I'm
not
not
judging you.
dumping on you.
And I'm
Look,
sorry if
we've
you
all
feel
done
it's hard.
crappy stuff.
Not you, Pastor.
But I'm just saying, if she's looking at it, let's give her the benefit of the doubt, and she didn't plan to get pregnant,
Right.
but she did get pregnant.
Sure.
If she's looking back and going, man,
This is not the guy I
a
want to raise
mess.
my child with.
I would never want this to be the father of
100%.
my child.
100%.
Then she's thinking to herself, this, I'm doing this child a favor.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
She's thinking.
And I'm not saying she's right. I'm
not saying
just
she's right
saying
either. Yeah.
that's a logical train of thought.
Maybe
Right.
she's ashamed that she's got to explain how her daughter came about.
So
Like, I
I
mean,
saw
I'm
this
just
one
saying. I'm
Puerto
being realistic.
Rican.
so look, I think to give her the benefit of the
Or
doubt.
maybe tell her dad, like, he's a Spanish guy and the dad's all white. She's white, right?
Yeah, she's white.
Oh, yeah. And she's
I
probably
think
He's from
to
like, get
give.
that spick out of here.
he's from El Yunque.
Are you Spanish?
I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah, Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why
could've
do you think I
fooled-
said that?
Born
You
and
could have fooled
raised.
me, bro.
Born and raised. Yeah.
In Puerto Rico?
Malo white B. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
What do you
moved
think he was?
moved to Kissimmee when I was
What
12
do you
years
think
old.
he was?
When he was
Like
12.
Nico. Like, you looked at Nico and you're like, he's white.
Yeah.
He could have fooled me.
No.
He could have. Oh, that's right.
He is a white.
Never mind.
He's a white Puerto Rican.
That kind of gave it away.
Jesus Enrique
Your
Maldonado
your
Agostini.
name is Jesus.
Malo white B.
Hey, look at his arm.
You
It
have to
says
be
blessed.
He's Russian.
What have we cho-
Blessed
No,
and
cabrón.
Jesus.
I'd like to apologize to the
Yeah.
Puerto Rican community.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, in
You
Puerto
could've
Rico,
fooled me.
I just went to Puerto Rico this weekend,
Yeah.
and the cookies are like crazy. Like,
Dude, when do we go into one of those cockfights?
bro, whenever you want.
How much
But-
money did you bet money?
Pause.
Yeah, I
pause.
lost $20.
Pause.
Yeah, $20.
Yeah, to
How much
Avi.
could you have won? Oh no, wait a minute. Can
No,
you bet on the? Can you bet on the
bet-
chickens?
no, you bet on whoever's there.
I know, but can you bet on the chickens? Like
You
who's
could bet
gonna
on
win?
you bet on
yeah.
Do they give you
Yeah.
odds?
There's,
Chicken-
there's
it's
red
chicken
and
fight?
blue.
Do they
It's
give you
chickens?
odds?
Yes,
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
talk to the
It's
cop up
chickens
front.
that fight.
But okay, so if you bet on the chicken, like say you bet $20, what's the most you could win? You think?
Bro, whatever you bet.
Whatever the pool is.
Wait,
so you can,
wait.
whatever you
Chicken
bet.
fight?
just like, he like,
Cockfighting.
bro,
Oh, cockfighting.
Yeah.
cockfight.
Did you lose?
No, I lost $20, but you
Was your
could bet.
cock
You
smaller
bet
than the other
whoever,
cock?
whoever's like on the stands. You be like, hey, I got 500 on blue. You can win $500.
Oh wow!
You're like,
so it's all straight 1-to-1 odds. I doubt that.
yeah, it's one
It's
to
1-to-1?
Yeah,
Yeah,
1-to-1.
They don't know, like, they don't fight.
Bro, this
Yeah,
They're
but
one
if,
and done.
but if
They're
this
like-
chicken's won like five
No,
in a
no, no,
row,
no, yeah,
they're
yeah.
like
Let me,
straight up boxers, bro.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me give it some like they train them. Like
Yeah.
I absolutely train them.
I guarantee if it comes from a certain trainer and he's won a couple
100%.
matches, they give him odds.
100%.
I guarantee
They
you.
only fight 2 or 3 at most in their life.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
matches?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, they get messed up.
They get
this-
shredded.
This is like
people.
dog fighting. They don't
Bro.
like have a Mike Tyson streak. They get
Did
they
you?
have a few.
This is worse
Did
than
you
dog
see-
fighting.
Say
Bro, I saw
Mayweather.
one. I
Yeah.
saw one where one of the cocks hit him so hard that it's
Pause.
that his head just snapped back, just like, and he was dead instantly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What did he hit him
Dude, okay, hold on.
with the Mike Tyson fury.
Yeah, but listen, hold on.
with the
when,
KFC.
when you got down there.
and now in the KFC.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry.
When you got down there, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, are you staying with people or are you just there on vacation? You
We stayed on vacation. We
like
had
an Airbnb?
Yeah, yeah.
do you know anybody down there?
Avi's wife.
Avi's wife knew people?
Yeah, Charlene knows it.
And so Charlene knew where to go?
she knew where
Her
to
family
go.
lives there.
Her
Her family
her
lives in
mom.
Puerto Rico.
Lives there at like some town had a cockfight.
Her mom's boyfriend gave us the location.
And she's like, hey, go here and this is where it's gonna
This is
the Addy.
common. This is common though in Puerto Rico.
She dropped the
It's
Addy.
common.
We went.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go with you guys next time. All right, that's as far as we can go for tonight. Love you, mean it.
Hold
Peace.
on, real quick.
Hey, hey, hey.
What?
Wait, I didn't even
Real
get
quick,
to
real
ask
quick.
no question.
No,
Real
you're
quick,
not getting to
real
ask anything.
Real quick.
Jiminy
Hey, those
Christmas.
coquilles keep you up at night. That's why they don't fuck.
Hey man, we gotta go to clean it up. To clean it up, we gotta go to clean it up. To clean it up.
Okay.
In Marissa's defense, again, I don't think what she's doing is right, but in her defense, she is protecting her child. You know, I'm a total stranger, and at that time, like I said, it was the sickest time of my life. I didn't really show attributes
Yeah.
of a father.
I mean, that's
you know,
perception because you're not a total
I'm-
stranger. You're the father of that child. She
Right.
called
Okay.
you to tell you it's yours.
I think he's making a point.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to make the point
Yeah.
to where like I don't hate her. I'm not mad at her. I think from her perspective, even though it might be a skewed perspective, I think she's protecting her child. You know, I'm a total stranger.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's not willing to raise that child
Yeah.
with a total stranger. So it's either I take a risk and raise my child with a stranger who might damage my daughter, or I just cut them completely out and
Yeah.
take care of the job myself. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not saying it's
And
right.
trust
but
me, when her family heard this story and that it was a one-night stand, basically,
Yeah, they were like,
everyone, her father, her mother, all her sisters, her
professional
brother,
scholars.
everybody
Yeah.
were like, oh, no, we're not.
They're like,
including
is
this
he
guy."
white? Or he's Spanish? Forget it.
No, it wasn't
Don't
that.
even give
Trust
him a
me, it was
chance.
the situation. They're like, no. The best thing you can do is cut this guy out.
Not only that, like we're talking about presidents of hospitals. We're talking about people with PhDs. We're talking
Yeah.
about, you know, CNN hosts. Like we're talking about straight up professionals. And here you got this Puerto Rican smoking Newports that doesn't have a high school diploma. Like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
All right, love you,
All right.
mean it.
Bye.
Jiminy Christmas.